All right. I'm live on Instagram, I'm live on YouTube, and I am recording for the podcast. So we are all set up everywhere we need to be. And today I am so excited to be talking to you about some of the things that have really helped me evolve as a person. And these are going to be things that are tied to my entrepreneurial journey because that has been a huge aspect of my personal growth and my personal evolution. But as you're listening to this, I want you to actually think about the area of your life where you are most seeking a change, the area where maybe you feel lost or stuck. Maybe there's a situation that you're in where you really don't know how it could evolve or how it could be different. Maybe you just have started to settle for something that doesn't feel good. And I want you to bring that area to mind as I'm talking because I know that we are all human. We all have things about our life that we wish were different. We all have things that we wish we could change. And I was actually just talking to one of my clients about this the other day. It's not so much that we get to the end of the road and our life is perfect, because, of course, I think by the time you would resonate with a brand like mine, by the time you'd be listening to this, you know that we're not trying to eliminate all problems from our lives. But what we want to do is change the way that we see ourselves so much that we start to really believe that we deserve something different and go after what we know we deserve in life. And so a lot of the times it really does come down to our self-worth. It comes down to how we view ourselves. If we believe that we are supposed to hate our jobs or, get into a bunch of fights with our partners or live in a dysfunctional household, if we believe that we are supposed to be struggling to pay for our lives, if we believe this, then we won't even really try to change it because deep down we think that's either what we deserve, or we think that that's all that's available to us, or maybe we think that that's all that we're supposed to have. I know a lot of people, and this used to be me, sometimes would feel like, well, if I have more than everyone around me, then that's going to isolate me from my friends and family. If I really love, and this is something that I actually dealt with a lot when I was wrestling back and forth with my entrepreneurial journey and not really claiming and owning my business as fully as I am today, I would have these conversations with myself and I would be like, well, my parents didn't like their jobs and my friends don't like their jobs, and it's so easy if you are not in this entrepreneurial world. Oh, hello, my love. It's good to see you. It's so easy if you're not surrounded by people who are committed to living the lives that they know they're meant to live, that you just see so many unfulfilled people unfulfilled in their careers, unfulfilled in their marriages and their partnerships, unfulfilled in their health and their fitness journey, even unfulfilled spiritually. Like, you just surround yourself, and I'll come back to the unfulfilled spiritually in a minute because I think that's something really important that not a lot of people are talking about, but it really is worth digging into. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the point I'm trying to make right now is that you see everyone around you being unfulfilled. You see everyone around you not liking things about themselves and about their lives. And you start to feel almost guilty for wanting more than what everyone around you has. And you might be asking yourself, well, why should I love my career if no one else does? Why should I be in a loving and peaceful and harmonious partnership when my parents are fighting all the time? Like, why should I be in these situations when I don't see anyone else around me in them? And is it unrealistic? Is it asking too much? Is it, shouldn't I just be happy with what I have? And these are the kinds of conversations that make it very hard for you to grow and evolve, no matter how much you say you want to. And now we're getting into the subconscious, right? Because when you have those deeper rooted stories going on beneath the surface, telling you that you shouldn't want what you really want, that it's not okay for you to have what you desire, that if you have what you desire, you're going to isolate yourself from your loved ones and from your friends and family, then you just put yourself in a situation where you will never actually take meaningful steps to move forward. And this is exactly what I was experiencing. So I want to tell you a little bit of my story. I will also talk about the being spiritually unfulfilled piece, because that is a big chunk of my story. And I know that that's something that a lot of people are struggling with, whether you know it or not. This is like an epidemic in this world. And so I'll talk about that too. And I really just want you to see, as I'm sharing all of this, that these are the kinds of things that once you fix them, once you address them, once you have another way of going about it, your personal evolution, your personal growth, becoming who you know you're meant to be is going to be so much easier, and is going to move along so much more swiftly. We have this narrative in the personal development world that change is hard. And, I come from a nonprofit background. I was working in public health before, and I had a background in city planning as well, but always through the lens of city planning and public health working together. So planning for the sake of helping people heal, and for the sake of helping people live their best lives. And that was the career path that I thought I was going to be on forever. Honestly, that was what I went to grad school for, and I was very committed to that path. But what I started to realize as I was in this in this degree program, and doing the research and researching for my thesis and doing all of these things, and then doing internships, etc. When I was in this world immersing myself, the dominant conversation was about how hard it is for people to enact behavioral changes. And if you have any kind of nonprofit background, if you have any kind of background in public health, you have probably had this conversation more than once about how hard it is, quote unquote, how hard it is for people to change what they're doing, for people to change their behavior, for people to adopt new systems, adopt new strategies, adopt new interventions, if we're going to stick with this, nonprofit world analogy. So it's kind of like we can roll out the very best of the best and give people everything, but they won't use it. And that was the frustration that we were always having, was that you can put everything in front of the people and they won't actually use what you put in front of them. And how can we get people to actually adopt the things that are going to help them, right? And the reason I'm bringing all of this up, and especially speaking to this piece of like behavioral change is hard, is because the reason behavioral change is hard is that it has to come from you. It has to be internal. An external entity, no matter how compelling, cannot convince you to actually change your life. I show up here every day. I'm in all the places. I'm on YouTube. I have a podcast. I have my Instagram. I have my newsletter. I am literally everywhere. But no matter what I say, I cannot change your life for you. I cannot make you do anything that you deep down are not on board with doing. And, honestly, I don't even want to, because that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to coerce people, but I am here to give you the tools so that you can actually go through the journey you need to go on internally, and do the things that you need to do with yourself, the things only you can do, that are going to make you actually available to change your life. Way back in 2022, I taught a class called Becoming Emotionally Available to Your Desires. And one of the things that I spoke about in this class was the fact that oftentimes we have to go through a process of aligning those deeper parts of ourselves that are really worried about change, and that are, comfortable even in uncomfortable situations because it's familiar. We have to align those parts of ourselves with the other parts of ourselves that want something new, that want to go on an adventure, that want to expand and evolve and grow. And until those two parts are in harmony, we won't actually see changes in our lives. And so you might have a version of yourself, a future self, a you 2.0, who is thriving in their career, thriving financially, thriving in all their relationships, thriving physically, on top of it with their health, on top of it with everything, and really living in a deep sense of grounding and fulfillment and satisfaction. This isn't a version of you who is like hustling and grinding to keep it all together. This is a version of you who feels whole and complete and is very happy with everything that they see around them. And this version of you does deserve to come forward. This version of you does deserve to manifest and to materialize. But in order to make that happen, like I've been saying, we need to get on board those parts of you that are like, but change is scary and change is hard. And what if I do this and everyone abandons me and I have no friends? Again, that was something that I really dealt with like a lot for years, was like, what if all my friends and family abandon me because I'm going on this unconventional career path? And what if I just get so fulfilled and so happy and so free that no one can resonate with me anymore because I'm no longer going to have anything to say when people are sitting around complaining about their jobs? And that honestly just goes to show how much I spend personally around people who hated their jobs. And that's not to say anything bad about them or even bad about me. It's just that's the reality I was in. And you probably have your own version of like, you're around a bunch of people who hate X, Y, and Z, who are very unfulfilled in a certain area of their life. And you might even just be afraid to change it because it's like, well, what am I going to say when we're all sitting around talking? What am I going to say when I only have good updates and they are complaining and stressed and scared and sad and nervous? Like, how am I going to fit in with my friends and with the people that I love and with my community? And these are all conversations that it's important to really like have with yourself. Don't just shut them down. Don't just, because oftentimes in the personal development community, we can be so afraid of our fears, and we can be so afraid of those aspects of ourselves that are like not on board with change that we kind of ignore them, we shut them down, we pretend that they're not real, and we pretend that they're not there. But at the end of the day, they are there, they are real, they are holding you back, not because there's anything wrong with them or not because we need to judge or shame them, but because they have power just as much as the part of you that wants to change has power. The part of you that doesn't want to change has power. And both parts really do need to put their power together if you are going to move forward in any area of your life. And so with all of that, I do want to make sure that I tell you a bit of my story and then also talk about this spiritual fulfillment piece and tie it all together. So for me, being spiritually fulfilled has been the catalyst to the deepest levels of change and transformation that I have seen within myself and then around me in my life. I grew up in a house that was very religious, but I don't remember there being a lot of spirituality. And when I say spirituality, I'm not necessarily talking about anything quote unquote new age or any particular like school of thought or way of seeing the world. What I'm talking about is having a personal relationship with the divine. And I don't know that it was obvious to me when I was a kid that you could even have a personal relationship with the divine. It felt like you were supposed to pray, you were supposed to read the Bible and go to church and do those things, but it never felt necessarily like I could have my own one-on-one relationship with God. And there were a lot of factors contributing to that. Like, I was also a queer child growing up in a homophobic household, and that made me feel even more so like I couldn't have a relationship with God. Like, God did not really want anything to do with me, or like I wasn't, all kinds of things in terms of like, if I were to actually try to have a relationship with God, would I get rejected? What would happen? How would that really go for me? And so I was in these like very deep places in my mind, feeling very lost and very spiritually uncomfortable would be the like gentle way to put it. But really, I was in like a deep, 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 dark place of like almost like I had to reject all spirituality because I did not want to have a relationship with the divine, because I did not want the divine to reject me. I did not want the divine to throw me away. And so I ran from anything religious, but also from anything spiritual. And I started to maybe intellectualize the idea of spirituality in a way that kept me very distant from it, but I still remained curious about it. And there's so much I could say about this and how this has looked for me. But the main thing that I want to share is that because I removed spirituality from my life, and because I never really had taken the steps to form a one on one relationship with God, I was deeply skeptical that there was a way for me to heal and grow and evolve. I didn't actually believe that good things were available for my life. And that sounds kind of like a lot, and it was a lot, and I was in a lot of pain, and I was experiencing some of the deepest mental health challenges anyone could experience. I was going through a lot at that time, and it was all due to, now I see, back then I had no idea what was going on, but now I see it was all due to this idea that like I didn't believe that the creator of this universe loved me or cared about me or wanted me to succeed or wanted me to be happy or even wanted me to live at times, right? Like there were times when I was like, am I a mistake? Should I not even be here, you know? And these conversations that I was having with myself back in like 2014, 2015, all the way up through like 2017 even, I was still in this place. Like this, it was a long road of like really not believe, like feeling very alone, feeling like it was all up to me, and then feeling like the world was stacked against me, feeling like my different social identities, like being a Black person, being a queer person, being a person who had experienced childhood trauma, being a person who had experienced sexual trauma, all these things, making it feel like the whole world was working against me, and really left me not being able to imagine a future for myself, honestly. Feeling like there was nowhere good for me to go in life. And while I was in the midst of all of this, I started meditating purely because I was having all these mental health challenges, and I started seeing a therapist, and my therapist introduced me to the concept of grounding techniques. And I remember just noticing that I felt slightly better. And shout out to this therapist, honestly, Carmen, she was amazing. She is amazing. Um, but through her was when I really started to just create little pockets of space in my life to actually, I didn't know that I would be creating pockets of space to hear from God, but I was just creating space for the sake of like my nervous system, like for the sake of being able to make it through the day, for the sake of being okay. And so she taught me about grounding exercises. She also taught me about affirmations. And she had me do affirmations literally every hour because things were so bad for me that I needed like moment to moment support. And I'm really grateful for her because she started teaching me how to hold myself through something that was really hard and through something that, to be honest with you, I thought would never end. Like I was prepared that that would be my inner world, and that would be my emotional state and my outlook on life forever, again because I did not believe there was anywhere good for me to go. And so because I didn't believe that there was anywhere good for me to go, it was kind of a blessing and a curse because I was so convinced that the best I could do was learn how to cope in my horrible mental health state, that I did everything that she said to do. I was like, okay, I'm living with this extreme depression and PTSD and all of these things. And so, in order to live with this, I am going to have to do my affirmations once an hour, and I am going to have to do my meditations, throughout the day. And I'm going to have to be really on top of these things because this is how you live with these issues. I did not realize that this was also how you heal these issues. Um, but I was just so focused on coping and making it through. So I was doing my affirmations every hour. I was meditating. I was journaling as well. I was doing different like body scan type of things and grounding techniques. And over time, I started to actually channel. Like, as I was journaling, I would notice that I would be writing about how hard things were and how hopeless I felt. And then all of a sudden, this like incredibly encouraging, incredibly hopeful voice, but not an audible voice, just like an energy would flow through me. And I would be writing myself these like incredibly uplifting like pep talks in my journal, where on the same page, just a few lines up, I was writing this deeply like desperate, hopeless, very like lost sounding message. And it's been like almost 10 years. So at this point, I can understand what was happening. But back then, it was just like, this is kind of wild. When I write in my journal about how sad I am, then I also have this like random urge to start writing good things to myself. And why is this happening? And I just kind of started to observe that. And as I stuck with these practices, really just affirmations, meditation, journaling, it started to make it a little bit easier for me to believe that what I had been taught about the divine was not all that was true. And that allowed me to open up and actually start going on a spiritual journey for myself. And this transformation from I am hopeless, I am in despair, I am pretty sure there's nothing good out there for me, I don't even know what my future would look like, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be horrible, to I am open to believing that there is something that cares about me out in this world, that there's that maybe, just maybe, there is something called God, and maybe, just maybe, God loves me. That transformation was the biggest and most important shift I've ever made in my life. Because from there, from even just being willing to consider that there was something called God and that God loved me, it allowed me over the next several years to open up to the idea that it was okay to take risks, that it was okay to go for stuff that I really wanted, that my previous self would have never even dared to take seriously, that it was okay to let go and to have boundaries when there were people in my life who were very actively trying to prevent me from being myself, or who were very actively trying to prevent me from living the life that I had started to feel called to live. And there were just little moments along the way where it started to feel like I wasn't in it alone anymore, and therefore I had more power behind me when I wanted to do something big. And so when I decided to start a business, one of the first things that I did was I prayed about it. I prayed about it. I asked God, and I said that I wanted to start using my spiritual journey to inspire other people. And I didn't really know much other than that. And so I prayed and I asked for guidance. And that was back in December of 2019. And by June of 2020, my business had had its first 5-figure month, and I was really helping people, and I was getting people in courses and in programs, and I was doing sessions, and I was really showing up as this spiritual leader and as someone who could help people heal and grow. And that transition into entrepreneurship has really helped catapult so many other transitions that I have gone through in my life. But I don't want you to walk away from this thinking that entrepreneurship is the answer, because entrepreneurship was the byproduct of what the actual answer was, which was really being open to having my own relationship with the divine, whatever that needed to look like for me, not feeling like it needed to adhere to anyone's religion, not feeling like it needed to go by anything that other people were doing or saying, but just, okay, when I sit with this energy, I feel love. When I sit with this energy, I feel like there's hope for me. When I sit with this energy, I feel like I can do hard things, scary things. I feel safe and comfortable to take risks. And knowing how to sit with that energy and how to move based on the things that that energy was guiding me to do is literally the only reason that I have contributed positively to anyone's life, let alone thousands of people's lives. It has given me the courage to really let go of either romantic partners or old friends or team members or anyone who was not actually supporting me in getting where I wanted to go in life. And not just from this perspective of everyone is around me to support me, but really there's a just deeper sense of like misalignment where we're not seeing eye to eye and we're not able to support each other or to contribute positively to each other's callings and to each other's missions, and being able to recognize that more clearly because I have been more in tune over time with the divine and with what the divine is calling me to do and with what the divine is calling for other people, and being able to see that misalignment and to get out of misaligned situations, and just knowing that like as I continue to be on this journey, there will always be another layer, there will always be another level, there will always be something else for me to expand and evolve into, but not letting that mean that I haven't done enough, not letting that mean that I'm not far enough, not letting that mean that I have nothing to offer from this place I'm in right now just because I'm not everywhere I want to be. And these are the types of beliefs and thoughts that I could only access from that initial state of there is a divine presence. The divine presence loves me, wants me here, is supportive of me, and is helping me become all that I feel called to be, right, in the world, and helping me make a positive impact and helping me evolve and expand and all of these things. And so as I talk through this and as you sit here and kind of like receive this for yourself, I want to leave you with an invitation. I am going to be doing a retreat, an in-person retreat in upstate New York in the Catskill Mountains in June of 2025. I am so excited about this retreat. There's going to be very cozy, very intimate vibes. There's going to be 4 of us, well, 4 clients and me, 5 of us total, but 4 spots are available. We're going to be going deep into your personal evolution journey, your personal transformation, and really helping you to expand, to evolve, to up level, but from this deep grounding in unconditional love. There are so many spaces in the personal development industry that will shame you for not being where you want to be in life and then use that shame to sell you their solution. What I'm inviting you into is the knowing that you are already unconditionally loved. You are already worthy. You are already incredible just as you are. And from that place, you can take the next step forward. You get to keep evolving. You get to keep expanding. You get to keep becoming everything that you are meant to become and doing everything that you're meant to do in this world from that state of knowing you are already loved and you are already exactly who you are meant to be right now. There's just more. There's just a deeper expression. There's just an amplification of what's already amazing about you. And so if you want to step into that, if you want to spend time immersing yourself in that energy and really getting to have deep conversations with other people who are on this journey just like you. I know that personal growth can be super isolating because, as I said earlier, we are not often surrounded by people who are interested in bettering themselves and bettering their situations. We are usually surrounded by people who are content to stay stuck and to complain. And so if you want to pluck yourself out of that and ground yourself into a group and into a small community of people who are ready to expand, who are ready to evolve, and who aren't willing to do it from a place of like shame and judgment and self-hatred, go ahead and head to the link in my bio. You can put yourself on the wait list for my retreat. It is called the U 2.0 retreat. I literally, like I said, just can't wait for this to happen. The waitlist closes on March 20th, and everyone on the waitlist will get $300 off the retreat. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Let me know if there's anything from this message, from this live stream that spoke to you, anything that you'd like me to go deeper on in another message. Maybe I'll go live again. I actually really enjoyed just sitting here and sharing and expressing. So I will probably be doing this again really soon. So if there's anything you'd like me to go deeper on, don't hesitate to get in touch. I love you so much. You are so, so loved by God, by spirit, by the universe, by the divine, however you want to call it. You are loved. You are really just perfect just as you are. And there is so much more for you to step into and to experience in this world. And I can't wait to be a part of your journey. All right. Take good care. Bye.